Okay, little mic check.
Yeah, I hear you.
Cool.
I invited Trader Rocco up as well.
All right, cool. Yeah, how's the weather on your end? I know you've been getting a lot of storm and so I'm kind of a little worried that it's like please don't lose connection, man.
Yeah, so there was rain earlier, but not right now.
Okay, that's good. Well, it's nice and sunny here in Dallas. Temp at least here is like what, 75 degrees. So nothing too crazy. Then we got Ivan. Ivan, good morning. How's everything going?
Good, man. How are you?
Good, good. Just enjoying this weather. Uh, Blocked off my schedule just for this special occasion. Got my coffee.
That's a good thing. I need some coffee. I don't have any.
Are you still trying to wake? You're still trying to wake up? No, it's all right. It's all right. Good morning, Rocco. What time is it over there? It's five. No, good afternoon. There you go.
Yeah, it's good afternoon. It's 5 o'clock in the UK.
Okay, right on, right on, right on. Okay, so we'll give it a couple more minutes, let people trickle in, and then we'll go ahead and get started.
Yeah, sounds good.
Cool. All right. All right, I'm going to go ahead and get the show going. Um, Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Guys, thanks for joining us here on the Interrupted podcast, episode 14, for this little special round table with our returning guest, Ivan, and our special guest, Trader Rocco. But before we begin, I want to take a moment for a couple of announcements. First off, if you haven't already, please delegate or redelegate to PSC Validator to incentivize them to stay on chain. One of the things I do want to encourage is that we want to keep quality um, validators with us. PSC does have a reputation for being one of the old guards, and then also with his consistent participation with the community has made him someone whom I trust. And it sucked that even I had to redelegate away from him because I was under the impression that he was leaving, and now I have to wait for that stupid 21 days. But also, if you're a big supporter of the L1 task force, I'm going to chill a little bit because I can. Please delegate over to LDF because much love to those guys for their support for the L1 task force. And then also congratulations to Jerry on you sold it. Yeah, you sold out on all of your your Luna Sapiens. Is that correct? Everything. I think that's what I saw.
Yeah, so it happened in my sleep, and then Ivan woke me up, and then I couldn't go back to sleep. But yeah, we went through that.
Congratulations, dude. Nice work. And it looks like you got a future project coming up with Lady Sapiens. Is that right?
Yep, there's some talks on how we're going to actually handle that, but it's going to be unique, a little bit different than what the other projects are doing. But I'll have
Cool.
more information when we have it all figured out.
All right, cool. So we'll hold off from talking about that one until you get things smoothed out and more to come. And with that, I'm PSX, your co-host, and guys, Trader Rock, Ivan, welcome. And with that, I'll hand it over to Jerry.
Yeah, so Ivan, I think if you could introduce yourself, and then Trader Rocco after you.
Hey, guys. I'm Ivan. Most of you guys know me. I've been around for a very long time. And very involved in the Luna Classic community. I like helping promote projects. I don't get anything out of it. I do it for free. Um, I like helping out the Luna Classic community. I want to see us succeed and do a lot better. I think we're finally at that mark where we're going to be uh, starting to get beneficial. and I think things are starting to move in the right way, and that's enough for me.
Go ahead, Trader Rocco.
So hi all, I'm Trader Rocco. If you've been in Luna or Luna Classic community, I'm sure you've seen some of my moon posts. So yeah, I've been in crypto since 2017, and gave back a lot of money in 2018. Started trading again. Most of my following is from posting about Luna. Got in quite early, and obviously we know what happened. And then recently with Luna Classic, when it was all getting started with the burn tax initially last year, supported a few of the members, Vegas, Ed, and Terror Rebels, and all of that, hosting spaces and getting quite involved with the Luna Classic. And yeah, since then, still following, not as much as I used to, but still supporting Luna Classic when I can, help with like tweets, retweets, and if there's any cool stuff going on, maybe do like spaces more in the future with the repeg stuff with the red line. So yeah, just being part of the community and help where I can.
So the first topic of discussion tonight is what you guys think about the overall state of Lunk right now. And I think I'll go to Ivan first, and then we'll just kind of do a roundtable.
The current state of Lunk. Uh, well, I guess it's not really needed to say that it's been absolutely crazy. It's been a hell of a ride. I Like I said earlier, I do believe that things are going in the right way. There's something that I want to touch on, but I won't speak of it right now because I'm sure it's something that we'll get into. I see a lot of people that are, very disappointed in our price point right now. And, it's not just us that's down right now. I mean, it's the entire market. And I think we're relatively flowing with the market pretty well. As far as going up and down, I will say that it seems like we're a little hesitant to raise or to rise with the market as the other coins and stuff are rising. um
So should we rebrand to Pepe Lunk? Would that help?
yeah, I really don't think so there. I think what that is it's kind of like the whole raise to 3 zeros and a 5. There was a lot of FOMO there, and everybody thought, not everybody, but a good vast majority of people thought that, oh, if I invest $100, I'm going to make $1 million in 2 weeks. And there was a large majority of us that knew better. And I think it comes down to that, in retrospective to that they feel if we do a Pepe coin or a Luna Classic coin, that we'll do the exact same thing. We're going to burn everything down, and everybody's going to be rich in a couple of weeks. And unfortunately, it's that's just not the way it works. And what we're up against is we're up against FOMO, and which for those that don't know what that is, it's fear of missing out. And when things are good, everything's good. When things are bad, everything's bad, and you have to take the good with the bad. But I do feel that we're running in the right direction.
So I'll go to Trader Rocco. You next. What do you think about the overall state of Luna Classic?
So it's a lot quieter now, and I've seen that with a lot of projects. You see a hype cycle for Luna Classic. I think it was the 1.2 burn tax, which sort of captured not just Luna Classic, Cosmos. It was the full crypto. Everyone knew about what was happening, and we see that with a lot of projects. And one example is the sort of Litecoin halving. That was a huge hype cycle, and then price pumps, and people's bags from 1K, 10K, they've got huge sums, and they usually sell And I guess that's what's happened with Luna Classic. Lots of people have taken profit. Lots of new investors came in, invested maybe a lot higher up, and sort of waiting to see what the future holds. And I don't know, from a price point of view, again, it would need a hype cycle, which could be individual to Luna Classic, it could be another narrative, or it could be the whole crypto uh, bull market, whether it's with Bitcoin and the altcoins, meme coins. Um, those two things will affect the Luna Classic price, which I think most people here are interested in. From fundamental point of view, three things I'm looking forward to is how Ed's AI sidechain affects Lunk. So I've been following his posts. I know it will have some positive effects. I think I've read it somewhere that you'll have to put some link in to try out his new AI app or website he's creating. So that's slightly positive. But yeah, long term, how that affects red line drifters with USDC peg, repeg. That's something, what attracted me initially to Luna, the algorithmic stable coin. So that's going to be huge. And then after parity, if apps come. So those are the three positive things I'm looking forward to. But in terms of price, when the hype cycle ends, this is what the market usually is. From my point of view, I usually trade the hype cycle. I think people that follow me have seen me posting about Litecoin recently, and then meme coin last couple of weeks, and then we see it with everything. Cardano Shelly mainnet launch, and then they have another mainnet launch, and we trade that, and then usually it goes into like a quiet for a few years until the next thing comes. And hopefully Luna Classic can carry on building stuff, and have another big narrative where utility or narrative where people are excited about Luna Classic.
Well, Rocco, you definitely touched on some of the topics we're covering during this podcast. So we'll go to PSX. Go ahead and give your take on it.
Yeah, just to kind of piggyback off the hype point, and then I want to add to what my observation with the community has been. Something I've been currently doing as far as the hype cycle goes is I've been trading in and out of it to raise additional funds to buy more lunk, and then redelegate that into specific validators. So again, not financial advice, but it when I saw the dip, when we added another zero and people got disappointed, understandably, but I always view that as a nice little entry point for anybody wanting to buy in and on the cheap. But regarding the overall sentiment, it's a bit of a mixed bag from my understanding. Is one, there's currently 5 tax proposals out. I haven't even looked at it. I just see the titles, and I don't even, quite honestly, I don't even bother. More so because I don't care for the politics in general. I find it very counterproductive when we start having these conversations about tax, when you have a community at this size trying to play the role of that, similar to Congress here in the United States, and you see how well they run themselves. I find it to be, it only adds unneeded and unwanted bureaucracy, and that's the least thing that we would want. When ideally I would prefer that the community start focusing on how do we establish these relationships with developers, builders, those who already have a DApp, who is interested in onboarding with the Luna Classic community. That I find would be a much more valuable approach to where everybody gets a better return on their investment within a versus having to spend another 5 months, 6 months, arguing with each other which is the appropriate tax rate, because that makes a whole lot of sense. But that's my 2 cents right there.
Well, the Cosmos is the internet of blockchains, and Luna Classic is part of it. And there's more out there, right? And once we reach parity, I think it's going to open up a lot of doors for everybody. So one of the goals of the podcast is to get utilities from other blockchains in the Cosmos talking to us. Come to Luna Classic. That's great. But also just to let everyone aware that, there's a lot of things going on. that are outside of Luna Classic, and we can get motivated and kind of look forward to some of that happening on our chain. And I think that PSX, you kind of skipped the next topic, but I think we can go into the tax topic next if you want. But go ahead.
Well, yeah. Well, when you brought up parody, I want to go into that one because one of the things I was trying to find the recording for Ivan's and Trade Rocco's AMA, and I was struggling trying to. I think that's one of the biggest problems I have with Twitter is just trying to scroll through everybody's tweets just to locate an AMA recording. But a question for both you guys: if you guys can give us a quick summary of the previous AMA that you held with LBA, because I know ours was more of a blitz and we just had to get through it because we're a podcast first and an AMA second, so we don't really prioritize the AMAs even at the slightest. But if you can, like, let's start off with like a quick summary, and if you can, any real exciting takeaways other than parody that you can fill me in or in our audience, that would be great.
Go ahead, Rocco, if you want to take that.
Yeah, the main thing I took was, I guess, the next couple of weeks we're going to be quiet. They're going to be putting the head down, working, get the parity done. And after that, the business development side where anyone can, I guess, reach out to dApps, other projects and see if we can work together. I think someone name dropped White Whale, Kujira. So once we've got that parity done, it's going to be the moment of truth to see if we can get more utility on chain. That was the main takeaway for me. Anything to add, Ivan?
No, I mean, that pretty much covers it. Just getting the dApps over with us will obviously bring us volume, and the volume is where we're going to get the burns. So getting them dApps online is going to be absolutely critical. So, yeah, I think you described that perfectly, Rocco.
So that's simply put right there. Now I know we did a podcast with CENTCOM from White Whale Protocol, and their team is more than happy to work on Luna Classic. However, they need to, once we reach parity, they need to put up a proposal for their holders to vote on that. After that proposal goes yes, then I assume that there may be well, I don't know if there may or may not be a proposal on our end, because I mean, being a decentralized blockchain, anybody can build on it. So as far as the IBC goes, if anything needs to be opened up, then that would be a proposal.
Yeah, I don't think they need anybody's permission to. It would be stupid if they needed permission to build on this chain.
Right, but I mean, if there might be an IBC type of proposal, and everyone votes yes on those anyway. So I think
Well,
parity is going to bring a lot of, like, I think there might be a little bit of a pump, but I don't think it's going to be significant. What do you guys think the charts are going to do once parity hits? I mean, I'm not expecting much personally. I think there might be something small.
Yeah, from a price point of view, I don't think it would have much of an impact. Yeah, I mean, even if you look at Twitter engagement, it's more about burn tax. When you talk about burning, random people that have not seen, starts talking about it. So, yeah, I think initially it won't. Long term, again, if you can get the killer app, which hundreds and all the other blockchains want, then it will impact the price. But yeah, short term, I agree with you. I think we're not going to see much.
Yeah, I mean, down the road when more things get built, then I think with the bull run eventually coming, I think we have all that time to get things built on the chain. Then I think that's where it's going to really pay off.
Yes, yeah. Cosmos ecosystem is quite big, so being part of that will be big.
and just a quick add-on. I know Jerry and I have been reaching out to other developers outside of our own ecosystem, and we've managed to garner some interest. So we'll see what that looks like going forward. I know that at some point here in the near future, we want to set some type of open dialogue. I don't know if it's going to be in the podcast between L1 and White Whale, and that might be a great start to pivot.
Yeah, I'm excited about White Whale if they're able to come over. Um, they they have a lot of nice features. They bring other utilities with them, so they're not alone. It's like they bring their partners along with them, and I think that's going to be pretty huge. And it could be setting the precedents. So, and one of the things we have now, I get it that Luna Classic might not be as stable as some of these other blockchains, and that's but White Whale brings that stability. That's one of the things they bring. But they also bring a lot of other people coming over, utility wise. And once those things start happening over here, they're going to be leading by example, and then others will follow thereafter. And I was like, well, they're already over there. They're doing this. And then, a couple media releases here and there, people start hearing about it. It might build up a little more excitement for Luna Classic and more utility gets built.
Yeah, Ivan, so you better get your podcast shit together. Just give me a tough time.
So, Ivan, do you have any last words about parity?
Yeah, sorry, my microphone was skitzing out on me there. Yeah, I mean, I agree. Also, I think we might see a little bit of a hype push that'll push us back up into the 302 area. And hopefully we can stabilize there and build from there. But I think it's definitely going to be a work in progress. It's going to take time to get there. It's going to take time to see volume coming in. It's not going to be an overnight thing for sure. And anybody that's expecting it to explode, obviously not financial advice, but you might want to rethink how that's going to happen. So that's all I got.
Yeah, I
So
think
what you're
it's.
saying, so what
I
you're
think
saying is buy more lunk, right?
I'm thinking getting to 3 zeros too is super generous. I think if we're going to flirt with 3 zeros 1 again, but I'm not sure about if we get to 2. I will call you up and say you were right and I was wrong. I will. I'll admit
So
it.
buy more. So you're saying buy more lunk.
Uh,
Either way,
uh, uh,
I mean, eventually, yes.
as long as you don't call me at 5 a.m., Jerry.
Well, you called me at 5 a.m.
So are we buying more lunk or are we not buying more lunk? We're buying more lunk. Is that right?
Well, most of us are, yeah, when it's at 4 zeros. I
Not
think.
financial advice.
No. I mean, honestly, the parity thing might give it a nice little push, I think. But we also have to keep in mind the overall outlook of the entire economy worldwide and what the stock market's doing and what will happen in this quarter alone. I think there's a lot of investors right now that are still very hopeful in a time where we're essentially in recession. And now that the Fed has came out and actually admitted that there's a recession coming, then that's kind of a telling sign that we're probably going to hit some rough times soon, pretty soon. And then depending on how Bitcoin handles that as well. Go ahead, PSX.
Trader, didn't you post up something about regarding some updates with Binance and Luna Classic? Can you fill in some details on that? It's like I totally missed it.
Yeah, I think it was just that they'll be supporting the upgrade. So Binance tweeted out that the parity update, Binance will be supporting it.
It's kind of a no-brainer at that point. As far as the overall economic, I had a conversation with another individual from another community about like what catalysts would pop. Um, and one of the arguments I made was that if World War III happens, I mean everybody, I would say that would not that that's how I would want things to moon, but everybody would be looking for an alternative means to conduct payments outside the banking institution. That's just a guess. but crypto would be perfectly positioned to conduct such types of businesses. In regards to I saw an article regarding the banking. It seems like regional banks are experiencing a higher volume of deposits. So a good thing for those who aren't banking with here in the United States with like Chase, Wells, Fargo, but or more regional banks within their own states. It's a nice, healthy sign that there's some diversification that's taking place across the United States. I can't speak on the behalf of other countries or unions such as the EU or Canada. But if you guys have any insights on what the financial the climate of the financial institution with your respective area, man, dude, fill me in. I'd like to know what's going on.
Yeah, I can add to this. Again, I'm not an economist, I'm just a crazy trader. But again, I spend a lot of time reading about stuff. In terms of the world, I think it all depends on America. There's a saying: "It's whatever USA does, if USA sneezes, the world catches a cold." So it all depends on what happens with the US. A quick tip that people might find useful is when it was interest rates rising, when Fed Powell starts sort of dropping interest rates, or at least pausing the hikes, I think that's not a worse time to buy. So that would be the biggest indicator for me. Again, I don't understand all of, liquidity, banks struggling. Again, I can share with you what I think from reading about it, but I think no one knows. One of the biggest indicator for me would be when Fed Powell starts pausing rates and dropping rates. One of my trading mentors, he's just on holiday. When they started rising rates, he said, "Look, I'm off. I'll come back, Rocco, when Fed starts dropping rates or pausing the rates." And he's a smart guy. He's in his 60s and doing quite well. So that's a simple advice that us people with less than 100, 150 IQ can find it useful. So that's sort of my thoughts on it. And we'll see what happens with Bitcoin. I know people say if we get hyperinflation and currencies all go pop or whatever, Bitcoin will be the savior. We'll see how that happens because World War III, will we worry about Bitcoin or will we worry more about our safety? So there's a lot going on, but for me, I don't think that's anywhere near. I think we're still going to be fine. The Fed's going to bail us out. Same in the UK and Europe, we're going to get bailed out by printing more money for now. But yeah, long term, what happens, we'll see. That's just my thoughts of all the research and stuff that I do.
Yeah, I'm not sure if they can even get away with printing money again, but I guess we'll find out sooner or later if that's what's going to happen. Hopefully not. So, PSX, you got anything else to add on that?
I don't. Well, I'm pretty sure I will here in a little bit, but I'm gonna hand it back over to you.
Well, I'm saying let's go to taxes. So I guess there's several proposals up, but the one that is getting the most traction is the 0.5%, raised up from 0.2%. What are some opinions on this one, or if you guys have opinions, or if you have anything to say about it? Let's go with Rocco first.
So taxes, again, I was meaning to write a thread on it. So I think people think the 0.5 will have an impact. I personally don't think it will. And the impact of increasing the burn tax to even higher, I think that will just be an even bigger pump and dump. When you do something for the first time, there's a novelty to it. So an example would be the Litecoin halving. The last one was a huge pump. I got in, I think it was like 4x, 5x. This year I got in again, it's barely 2x. Again, I'm going to look to sell soon because the Litecoin halving is in 2 months, 70 days. So the novelty loses. So if you put the burn tax up again, there'll be people, me and then bigger influencers than me, they'll start tweeting about it. More people invest, will get a spike up. I don't think it will 10x, but then that will get sold into heavily. So I don't think raising burn tax to really high would help long term. It will just be a pump and dump. And then shorter burn tax, I don't know the impact it will have on like DApps and Binance burning. Again, someone else can comment on that fundamentally, or from a blockchain point of view, if that has an impact. If that doesn't, we could raise it. I mean, look, fees are quite low, so I don't think 0.5 will have an impact. I'm sure that you guys are we are whitelisting as well, the Binance wallets and some DApps. So I don't think 0.5 will have an impact. So I think it's just like a thing for people to talk about, but 0.5 won't have an impact. And if we raise it a lot higher, I think it will have some detrimental impact in the long run. Short term, it will be great for our bags, but and again, each year, if the novelty of it loses, so if we do a burn tax, it pumps and dumps, and then we try it again, it's not going to work. There's lots of meme coins that are trying it. It works maybe once or twice, but then it doesn't. So that's sort of my thoughts on burn. It was great initially. That's how I got involved. I'm sure a lot of us made a lot of money from it. But yeah, if we try it again, it loses the novelty.
Yeah, I think the concern is smart contracts that have multiple transactions, even though the burn tax on the initial transaction goes to whoever's doing the transaction. Some of these smart contracts go on the utility side, and they always have, you can whitelist their wallets and things like that, and fix that, but that creates more work as well. So me personally, like Rocco said, I don't have a strong feeling about this. I don't see it doing a whole lot of positive. I'm not. Time will tell if it's negative. I don't know. Uh, will it do a little bit more burn? Of course it will. Of course it'll do a little more burn. But if it reduces transactions, because that can happen, then where are we at? I don't know. I did notice once is like when we had the 1.2% tax, I was against them lowering it so soon without getting the data behind it. We didn't have it long enough to really get a good data set to really figure out what was going on, because you could have trained everybody to be okay with 1.2%, get that data, and then get the data on the utility side and just show the numbers and figure out how is this affecting utility. You say it's affecting utility, great, it's affecting utility. Like, put it out on Agora, something, and show us instead of the back and forth stuff. Now, I do realize that having a higher tax is going to raise the overall transaction costs. So anybody with any type of transaction type of business, any utility for that matter, is going to feel affected either from the consumer side or themselves. So, Ivan, do you got anything to add on the old 0.5% tax proposal out there? And PSX, if you could enlighten us after Ivan, if you are familiar with any of the other tax proposals. Go ahead, Ivan.
Oh man. I feel like this is something that we have talked and talked and talked and talked about. But I'm right there with you guys. I think one of the biggest things for me is the timing. We're just about to reach parity, making some upgrades to the chain. We're going to start reaching out to DApps, trying to get them to come over. And it's kind of like a, hey, surprise, we're raising the taxes a little bit. And, I think that, the right order, and I mean, it's just my opinion, but the correct order, if we were to do something like that, is get the DApps over, get balanced out, get things running smooth, and then discuss, raising the taxes. You know, on the other hand, I feel it's not a large tax hike, but it's significant, when it comes to certain DApps. And I know, just for example, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, Jerry, but I think you guys, as far as Miata goes, they have like 6 or 7 different transactions per the purchase of one NFT. So that is, that's going to be significant, just to that DApp itself. And we're starting to see a few different projects come out, and I understand that you can whitelist them, But, if we would have just left the tax alone, we wouldn't have to, go in and fix the code for this and fix the code for that. So I just think the timing definitely could have been a lot better. I don't feel that it's going to help us really at all. My personal feeling is that it's actually going to hurt us, maybe more so in the short run than the long run, because people are going to want to sit back and see what it does now, instead of jumping right in, which also, doesn't mean that everybody's going to jump right in, but I think we're going to have a longer wait, before we see certain dApps and stuff come over.
Yeah, so PSX, before you go to the other ones, I kind of want to bring something up. So I'm a fan of the 50/50 anti-handler proposal that went up, and the reason being is operational money and funding for layer one and getting our own endpoints and all that kind of stuff. That's important, very important. Now, there is an anti-handler proposal, and I haven't looked recently if it passed or not, but I think it was doing pretty good, where changed it from 1090 to 2080. Now, if this tax 0.5% tax increases, essentially it'd be the same as a 40/60 split. So I'm not like, I kind of feel kind of good about that, but I don't really know the long term effects of anything that's going on. I guess we'll find out eventually, and I have nothing negative to say about it. I just, you know, looking forward, how is this going to work? I know that there's going to be more money going in the community pool now. If both of those pass together, that's all I know. Go ahead, PSX.
You have to forgive me. I'm pouring myself a cup of coffee because I'm a coffee addict. Um, I, I, I don't want to weigh in on the 50/50 anti-handler yet, but my sentiments overall have been more positive. But I'm going to give it a little bit more time because I haven't sat down and let it absorb. But as far as like the overall tax conversation, it's becoming less and less palatable, as to why it's a continued a conversation within the community. It's just mind-boggling. And then to Ivan's point, one of the problems that I see is that the timing of it, literally when we're Jerry, like when you and I are going out and we're having these conversations with these other developers, it almost feels like when the community as a whole wants to raise taxes, it almost feels like they just take leverage away from us. It's like we're trying to sell you Luna class community, but somebody over here wants to shove a stick up my ass and say, no, you got to charge them this amount. Like it's a bit mind boggling. Like another good way of looking at it, particularly here in the state of Texas, right? We don't have a state income tax, but we do have property taxes. But those property taxes are not dictated by the state; they're dictated by the cities and municipalities. So you have a choice of which municipalities will fit your overall budget, or how much you're able to put out there, or be willing to be taxed to help fund the city's public services. The problem with the idea of the overall tax, sorry, that's my team's going off. Let me put that on mute. Is that we're not getting a public service. We're not raising money to, fund, like, I don't know, a legal team. That would be nice. Or I mean, I guess an investigator or an audit team that can audit layer two dApps. I mean, those would be great public service. But instead, we're taxing just for the sake of burning money, under the auspice of, if we lower the supply, it'll increase the price. But but how do you increase the price if you can't increase the demand to meet said supply? Does that make sense?
It does, but I mean, then we'd have to rebrand it to Peppy Lunkburn or something. So we can get the FOMO burn going, right? Go ahead, Trader. I'm sorry.
No, I just want to say PSX made a really good point. I think that's a huge misconception of the burn. People think that, burning reduces supply, the price goes up. It's more the demand that it creates because of the hype that made the price pump. If you look at the chart, the price went up, I think, until the week before the burn was actually implemented, or a couple of days before. So that's a really good point where people confuse is the demand. So burning is not going to do anything unless we keep the demand same, or ideally we create demand for the Lunk token. Otherwise, it's not going to do anything.
Exactly.
Yeah, and this is not to say that I'm against any projects that want to burn, but so long as if it's voluntary burn, fine. It's not my project. I'm okay with that. But to do like an overall implementation, like everybody has to do it, that's where the turnoff comes, and you lose the incentive to sell your point with the Luna Classic. Because when I was asked about what the utility was, from another person, uh, specifically who those who participate in the Juno ecosystem, they've been asking about the Luna Classic community and what the utilities were. I said one of my selling points was basically like, if you have an obsession with reality TV shows and you love the drama, come over to the Luna Classic community. It's 24/7. You'll love it.
Well, I don't know. For me, it's kind of died down, but apparently, according to Ivan, there's been some stuff still going on. But I'm not sure if we're going to be covering the drama topic. Actually, we are covering the drama topic. It's called politics, which is basically drama with a prettier word attached to it.
Well, I came up with this. Well, I wanted to pick up from Aesop's like original April Fool's joke that he pulled out there about burning the one community, and I suggested the idea is like, you know what? If we're gonna burn the tokens, let's just start with the community pool. Let's just piss everybody off. And it's like, and and I was just joking around with it, and somebody actually took that, and I think he might be. I mean, it might have been originally. There was a part of me that's serious about it. There's another part of me, I don't know. The politics of the overall community has gotten so AWOL. It's hard to make sense of what direction it wants to go, and a lot of that problem that stems from you have you have pro utility and then you have pro burning. Which side is going to win?
I'll tell you right now, burn is not going to get lunked to $1. I mean, it's going to take a long time. Massive amounts of utility and attracting layer 2 to come over here and build is going to build something that's going to last. Whereas, some of the other proposals of filling the community pool, the part of that was, not only to build a surplus, but to create an opportunity where we can be competitive with these other blockchains that give away free grants money to layer 2 projects. And I'm not talking about your smaller projects. I'm talking about big projects. So I think it's something that we can do to be competitive, and at least think about it. Go ahead, PSX.
Yeah, I wanted to ask Trey Rocco. I think I don't know if you were in another space, or I heard that you were looking into developing your own dApps. Maybe I misunderstood you, or correct me if I'm way off. That you wanted to invest more of your time to looking into development.
Yeah, so I think I've just been trading mainly. So I said I want to learn more about project development, working with developers. I did joke about creating a meme coin as well. But yeah, I don't want to like rug or create something and just dumps and pumps and dumps. I know a couple of ETH developers or Binance. I could launch it quite quickly on Binance and to just jump on the back of the meme coin hype. But I probably wouldn't want to launch it on Luna or Luna Classic, especially with what happened with Terrapool. I'd want to be working with some serious developers with experience, because I think Luna Classic community has gone through more than, even just being crypto, you go through crazy drama, pumps and dumps, scams, and Luna Classic community's gone through a lot more. So unless it's like a serious developer's got experience on crypto project developments, I probably wouldn't want to. I'm happy to learn, support. I think I try to help people when there's any. There's mainly NFT and play to earn projects that come up, or burn tokens. I don't really usually retweet burn tokens, but hey, again, I suppose if you want to do that, or I could even do that just to learn more of the development sides. But Yeah, I'm more ears as well. I'm reaching out to more people because I've just been trading the last 6 years. So I'm trying to learn more about the blockchain. Playing again, I'm not a coder. I'm engineer and project manager background before I went all in crypto. So yeah, learning more on like the blockchain, some of the coding stuff. It's just something that I find really enjoyable. Go ahead, PSX.
Okay, so this leads into another question that just popped in my head. So okay, so if you're let's just say that you're a developer or you're a business person wanting interested in coming onto the Luna Classic community because you see not just a massive community but an overall marketplace ecosystem. What are some of the things that would incentivize outside of that? Is there anything else that would probably incentivize you from not just developing but bringing other people on board to Luna Classic outside, assuming that there wasn't a burn? Is that something you thought about?
Yeah, I've not really thought of it. It's a good question. I mean, in simple terms, you could say Luna Classic is such a big community. One utility, I was speaking to someone about it, or I think people reach out to exchanges. Luna Classic is a huge community, so if there's exchanges being launched, I mean that's again they're not actual utility like long term inventing something. I mean every blockchain, thousands of blockchain is trying to achieve that. But simple utility wise, just main utility in the biggest utility in crypto is trading and pumping our bags. Binance and exchanges are the biggest players. That you couldn't get that on Luna Classic because there's such a big community. I mean, I was a big supporter of having a community DEX. And if we can, trade it there, we can, that's a utility because there's so many people interested in Luna Classic. So those are something that you could expect other people to collab with, like I think White Whale and other other blockchains that are quite big but don't have Luna Classic's community that want to collab with us. There's influencers like myself, and I mean a lot of the other bigger influencers are talking less about it. I guess a lot bigger than me, I guess. But yeah, because there's a community, I think that is a big pull. But the pool can also bring in the wrong pool as well. Just like there are amazing NFT projects. I mean, one of the ones that I quite like. Again, I'm not going to share my backs, but anyways, there's few amazing NFT projects. But there's also like a lot of just NFT projects that just launch, and you can also attract the wrong crowd. So I guess it's a positive and a negative. It's got a huge community which you can pitch to people to come onto Luna Classic, but it needs to be the right utility.
Does that okay? You don't have to show the bag, but does it start with the letter M as in mother? Yes or no?
No, which one's M? I'm curious now.
Oh, I won't sell it, but I'll DM it to you, and then you just
Well, I guess it's
Are you
it,
talking
mine is
about
quite huge.
the
talking about
logo's
Frank
purple.
market?
Diegot's. Frank Diegot. I'm sure you guys have heard about it. I'm just like obsessed with his the way he works. It's more in a way like sort of trading and like pumping bags, but he's just so like open about it. And all the moves that he makes, a lot of luck as well. The timings with Solana and like moving to Polygon. I don't know if you guys know about it, but yeah, that marketing is just genius, and that's something that I've
Was it D gods?
yeah, D Gods. You can look into it. I think they've created other projects after it as well.
Can you DM it to me just in case? I'm definitely gonna look into it like right after this,
Yeah, that's
but I
you
want to
can
make sure I get the right
learn.
person.
One of the my alpha. What I've again, I'm not saying I'm a smart guy, but best thing I've learned is like being able to understand where the hype is. So burn tax was one. Luna obviously was a huge one. Litecoin halving to some extent. So yeah, and that guy Frank D Gods, if there's lots of from a marketing point of view in crypto, there's a lot Luna Classic we can learn from it.
Another one is to watch the hearings in Congress regarding the finance, and then if you can hear like pick up a buzzword, you can hijack that buzzword, and apparently you can turn that into a meme coin in 15 seconds. But Jerry, sorry, I didn't mean. I saw that you had unmuted for a moment, so I didn't mean to steal your thunder. Go ahead.
Oh no, I mean, there's lots of talk about people building uh, dexes and things like that on Luna Classic. I know that we just started this week for my NFT project. We're building a swap right now, and within a couple weeks we should have a first deliverable on that. So that should be exciting, and that's a community driven project. The NFT holders will we're trying to get a DAO set up for them eventually. The only problem is like what we're looking at is enterprise DAO, and they're on 2.0, and kind of hoping parity kind of changes the paradigm for that and brings them over to Luna Classic. That way we don't have to do something crazy like launch a NFT project that isn't really an NFT project that just mirrors and airdrops to all the holders so that we can participate in the DAO on 2.0 for something that's happening on a different blockchain. Seems kind of like a weird roundabout way of doing things, but maybe it's just something we have to create on our own over here, or if somebody else is doing that, we would be more than happy to participate in that. Go ahead, PSX.
I was gonna ask about the enterprise DAO that you mentioned earlier this week to me, and I'm still trying to learn more about DAOs and how they're supposed to function. And additionally, what is it that anyone coming into a crypto ecosystem or a community such as this can expect from DAOs? Because lately, since last year, if you will, no names thrown out there, but um, there's it seems that DAOs, as far as a decentralized, autonomous, organized, it's just the overall word. I still, even to this day, don't know where to set my expectations with DAOs.
Well,
let alone trying to upscale it at the
it's
size
it's
of this community.
it's super simple. When you can break it down in simple terms, it's codified governance. That's what it is. So
Okay.
that's in the basic terms. So you have vision, you have direction, and it's codified in the smart contract essentially. And enterprise, they they will allow, it's a launch pad for DAOs. So you can create a DAO with your project, so that you can have the decentralization in your project, and have people that hold your token or your NFT participate in the direction that the project goes. And that's the whole purpose of a DAO. And I mean, I'm personally doing that at the level that I can right now, but having a DAO it would codify it and it would just make it better overall. I mean, because there's already a nice system put in place, and then people could use their NFT for governance on in my particular project. That's how I want to do it, but other projects can do it with the token. Go ahead, PSX.
Okay, so we're coming up on the 1 hour mark. Jesus Christ, that was fast. We got 5 minutes left. I want to let Trade Rocco and Ivan have the last word, and then I'll wrap it up.
There's I think I said it at the start that I'm looking forward to the three things that I mentioned. The Ed sidechain, parity, if we can get utility and DApps coming over. Those are the two main things, I guess, and then we'll see what happens with the burn tax. And hopefully it doesn't have any negative impact on Lunk. But yeah, those are three things I'm looking forward to. And yeah, if there's any people developing stuff, I'm happy to support, and you can see more utility on Lunk.
Go ahead, Ivan, if you anything you want to expand on.
Yeah, I got a message here. Just wanted to remind everyone that they are doing a upgrade to the chain today. That'll be version 2.0. There will be a halt on the chain here in about a half hour. So if the chain is down, don't worry, it'll be down for a little bit. Hopefully they get through that pretty quickly. They said they didn't have any trouble with it in the test net. So, it's one small step to the large step that we're trying to take. With that being said, I appreciate you guys having us on. It's always a pleasure discussing things with everyone. I really hope that the tax doesn't hinder us too much, but I do, like I said, feel that it's definitely going to hurt us. And if you think about it along the lines of you're heading out to buy a new car, and you got X amount of money for that car, and then as you go to sign the paperwork, they say, oh, by the way, we raised taxes on the car here, 0.3%. So you got to pay X amount of dollars per this transaction. You can really look at it that way. Do I think it's going to kill us? No. But I do think it's really going to slow things down a lot and have some people take a step back. And then on top of that, if it does have a long-term effect on us, then what do we do? We made a mistake there. We got to go back down to point 2 or 0.3 or whatever it might be. I just really feel it should have been left alone. With this change, I think we need to leave it alone and leave it alone for a while. Quit thinking that we can make magic happen with the burn tax. That's just not how it works. So hopefully we'll be all right. Hopefully things move forward. Like I said, thank you, Jerry, PSX, for having me on. Trader Rocco, it's always a pleasure with you. That's it for me, guys.
All right. And thank you guys again. Just a quick update for everybody. Ivan will be doing an interview with Base Token Burns with David, who's here in the audience. So for more information on that, please give Ivan a follow. And I believe is that discussion this tomorrow, Friday?
It's going to be either tomorrow or Friday. We're not set in stone with that yet.
Okay.
But I'm sure he's listening right now, so we will get that done. And it's going to be a great space. Going to learn a little bit about the project, how it works, what they do, where you can go, and what you can expect.
Awesome. And then he'll be continuing that conversation with Jerry and I this Sunday, so we can expand on top of that as well. So be sure to give Jerry a follow as well. And if you enjoy Trader Rock's talk here with us, give him a follow. He's got some great memes and some trade tips. Again, nothing should be considered as financial advice. And thank you all for joining us for this 1 hour special. And we'll see you guys next time. Thanks a lot, guys.
Cool. Cheers, guys.